Hello and welcome back to the Leander 98 channel. Today we are returning to the computer as well as Blender. Now I know I have not had much time for the PlayStation, either Dreams, Little Big Planet, or even Gran Turismo. Most of my time has been at school, which is about half an hour away from home. So obviously time for the PlayStation has been reduced quite a bit just to personal playtime. However, I got my computer wherever I go, so I can always use it here. And also, I don't need a TV to set up, I just need my laptop. So, I'm probably going to be seeing a lot more videos like this. However, today's video is we're going to show you a tip for 3D printing, as well as creating on Blender. And that tip is going to be extrusions like this, but leaving this the way it is. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to add the bumper on, but we're going to have the poly count here clip into the existing bumper, so then we do not have to tear what we have right here, just in case for any reason we want to have one without this bumper. Now, in 3D printing sort of way, when we eventually solidify it, the two solids will interact with each other, meaning that when you throw it on the slicer, it will conjoin it as one part. Now we can go later on that when it comes to adding brackets and supports to hook on to other things. In my case, I love making these for RC car chassis, either X-Mods or Mini-Zs. Perfect size for 3D printing. So, let's get right on into it. So, right now we're going to have it as a current object here, so then we can see all the vertices, just so then, later on when we scale it, it scales as one rather than having to scale each individually. Because obviously, compared to a normal RC chassis that we're going to be using, probably 90mm, as we can see here, it's a lot bigger. Actually, it's not much bigger. It's still bigger though. So we'll get rid of that for now. So let's get right on into it. So right now we're going to go up to create and just place. Now obviously, make sure that your 3D cursor, this little white and red circle, is going to be on the side that all your vertices are. And as well, when you hit create for a plane, it always makes it flat, as opposed to the, well, how would you say it? It's not the XY plane, it would probably be more the XZ plane, considering it's flat with the X plane and it's going as well in the Z direction, and none in the Y. So, I want to line this up so that we know it is colliding with it. Right there's good. Luckily, this is an easy flat one. So, right there. Now we go to the front view. And I see that the blueprint is off. That is one thing that I've always taught you guys in Little Big Planet. No, the blueprints you got there, some of them can be good, some of them can be pretty off. Quite a lot off. This one seems to be mostly okay for width and height. Width-wise, just for some reason the height doesn't match the side view very well. Even if the front view is pretty impeccable and perfect, you always want your side view to be the one you mostly go off of, considering that's got the most amount of information right there. Considering you could mostly just do side and top view if you're really desperate just to have a car. Desperate to have that model. Okay, so what we want to do is then at least extrude most of our information here. So it comes down 90-degree angle, then it also comes out and then curves around, extrude it back, extrude it down, and then we are going to extrude it, wrong direction, back into our car. Alright, so there we have our basic outline. Select it all, and then we are going to extrude it as it goes. Got to make sure that it is always inserting itself into there. Now most of this void will be filled up when we solidify it. And then we're just going to bring this around. Now, occasionally I am going to have to adjust the scaling in the Y direction as it is starting to shrink in. And then when we get here especially, it's going to be tucked up against it, and eventually, actually, right here. So, perfect placement, actually. This little bump right here actually stops, so I am going to have to bring it over just a hair. Stop right there. And flatten this out. So, this is going to be interesting, actually. How do I want to do this? There's a couple ways I could do this, really. Let's see, X, that vertice. Well, do I want to lose that? Yeah, I'll just lose the vertice. X, lose vertice. Now, this generally is not something you want to do, considering then what we're going to have is triangles, and triangles will, in a way, hurt this. There we go. So let's see. Bend it away. That'll smoothen out then when we do our subdivision. So now we can just take this and continue it on. This will also probably make it much easier when we finally get to our bend. Actually, did we have fog lights? We have fog lights. Shoot, that's gonna make that difficult. Ah! No! Stop! I keep hitting the wrong button. I'm gonna make this pretty tight. There we go. Now we'll have our area for our fog light. And when it comes to it, God, I'm doing this in my car. That explains the diesel sound next to me. So I do have a little bit of glare. All right, now here comes the fun part. We're going to have to rotate it around this, and then scale it in the Y direction, so then we can get this to shrink down. Actually, we're going to have to know which directions we do want. This is actually going to poke out quite a bit here because it is a sharp turn. So we'll also grab this, rotate it just a hair, and pull it out. Then we can always go back in. Come on. Go back in and fix it a bit. So then we'll come back, rotate it some more, and then here, gonna scale it in the X direction. And to flatten it off, scale it in the Y direction. Alright, now also with this, it is angled, so we'll have to come back here, angle, scale it in the Y direction so then we can get it back to being as nope, not the Y direction, the Z direction. Get it the height that it's supposed to be, bring it in, and there's that. Then what we can do, so then we can square it off, extrude that into the body. Probably have to select these separate, and then extrude. I could barely see this. Where is it? All the way out there? No. There. Extrude that. See these a lot better in here. I really cannot see this. I had to consider doing these inside. Well, either way, we got that there. So there. Got our extruded bumper. Doesn't affect the current body, but it is currently inside and will solidify along with the actual car body. So obviously we got this fog light here to do as well. That's pretty simple. So we're going to loop cut, add a spot there, and then we'll also do a loop cut here. Now it looks like it goes about the height of this kind of perfectly, actually. So we'll delete the faces there, select our perimeter, and scale in the Z direction so then we can, and then we'll also flatten it, so scale in the Y direction. Sink it in. And there we go, we got our fog light in there as well. So that looks pretty good. And then at some point when I get to it, we'll do it for the back, but that portion of the car is not even ready yet. So we got a while. Alrighty. And then go over here, solidify, and then do whatever size you need. And then there, solid object. Now I'll get rid of that. Trying to think of what else I need. Ah, yes. And then in case you're making this for a video game, which some people might, some people won't, what you could do, ooh, a little too dark. Select all the faces, Control F, and triangulate. Now I'm not going to triangulate because I like using subdivision, and subdivision does not, is there no face here? No, there's a face there. Yeah, and then triangulate, that's more of a common use for video games because they can just come on down to tools and use the smoothing very easily. Now for squares, it doesn't do smooth, and nor does it export to an STL as smooth, which kind of sucks. But there we go. There we go. We can build an we can extrude an external bumper without adjusting anything else. Alright guys, if you liked the video, please hit like and subscribe if you're new. Probably going to be doing a lot of Blender content considering they're like Little Big Planet. I got a lot of cooped up info to share with you guys, and hopefully it actually helps if you are into this, or even 3D printing. I got a lot of 3D printing ideas I'd like to share with you guys, as well as tips to actually 3D print pretty well without having a failed print. So, get to you guys, and we'll get to you guys eventually. Oh god, I don't know what rate I'm going to be making videos. Could be slow, could be fast, could be in between. But alright, see you in the next one. Bye.